And I can remember I never had so much fun in my life than I did because we lived in Louisville, and right a couple of miles from there was where all the soldiers were.
Ah.
And we used to go out I forget what night it was. They had organized the soldiers, and we had to go to dance, and they had dancing and all that to entertain the troops.
Ah.
And it was really fun.
Uh-huh.
It really was.
So you were a good dancer.
Yeah, oh Lord, I love to dance. I can't dance anymore, but I love to dance. Yeah, it's wonderful.
And they trained the troops in Louisville.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it was at Fort Knox.
Oh, Fort Knox.
Fort Knox.
About 25
But
miles
Fort Knox
from
was
there.
right
That's
outside.
all. Oh.
And Fort Knox was right outside of Louisville.
And that's where John Roman trained. Is that right? Fort Knox?
He did what?
Did he train there?
Oh, no.
John Roman.
No.
No.
I don't
He was
think
from someplace in Philadelphia, I think. No,
Oh, he was.
I can't think of
She's
his name of my life.
too short of a sinker.
So you guys remember the truth? Do you remember what was going on? How did you know what was going on with the news? Did you listen to the radio?
I know what was
What
going
was going on during the
Oh, we had
war?
radios.
The radio.
And yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
So do you remember, where were you when Pearl Harbor happened?
Oh my God, I don't know.
You're at the movies,
Where
What
were
years,
you?
Jim?
Huh?
I Harbor, where were you when that happened?
I remember
I
it.
think. Were you at the movies?
Well,
Did
I
I-
was
I think I
working
was
for
at
the telephone
I think I was
company,
at
and I
home.
was home for
She told me she was-
lunch. They had lunch then one day, and while I was there, they broke in with over the radios, and that's what had happened.
Uh-huh.
And oh boy, it was really something.
It's
I'll
horrible.
tell you.
So was Bud in the military then? Was he before Pearl
No,
Harbor?
no.
He joined. He was drafted after.
No, he was before all that became high, because I remember him getting when he heard that what do you call it, about the thing turning into a real war.
Yeah.
Well, he was our house.
Mm.
They heard it, and said I had all the soldiers to go home to immediately,
Mm.
and so he went, and from then on it was 4 years of war.
So when he was in Hawaii, when Roosevelt was given one of the fireside chats, the radio things, he was holding.
No, he wasn't. He was with the fellow that held him. That had handed the what do you call that thing?
The microphone.
Yeah, to whoever the guy was.
Right.
And he had dropped it.
Ah.
And so this fellow that was with Bud reached down and picked it up and gave it back to him.
Ah.
That's how come he got it on there.
So what was it like the day when you found out World War II was over? What was that like?
Oh my gosh, that was really wild. The streets were all full of people and screaming and carrying on.
Was this
and-
one was over?
Yeah. Dancing and
Dancing.
singing and all this crazy stuff. The streets were just full of people.
So do you remember when Bud came home from the war?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Did you meet him at the train station or?
No, we went, he came down, he came to his house where he lived, and I went down there to see him.
And were you married then?
No,
You were not
No.
married. Okay.
that was in October, and we married in
Okay.
June,
Okay.
1st of June.
And was Harold in the military? No.
Was Harold
Yes.
what?
No, he wasn't old enough.
He was in service.
He was in
But
the
not
service.
during World War II.
Not what?
Later, not during World War II.
Not what?
Not in in
Not
World
during
War
World War II. He came in after.
He was
Oh.
during Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
Korea.
yeah.
So, well, like with Marley and Sam, they didn't know my grandma that much. Like, what do you remember about her, Louise?
Well, Louise was our life. She took care of us. She bought our food and took us, bought our clothes. She was a wonderful person, and she did with that a lot for us. She really and truly did. And I loved her very much. So it was a wonderful life with my sister Louise. She
And
was-
why did she take care of you guys?
Huh?
Why did she have to take care of you guys, or was willing to?
Our
My-
father had died.
My father died. Yeah.
And she was already, yeah,
She was the only one that had a job in the house.
yeah.
So,
And so you were 14 or so. You said you were born in 22, right? So your
No.
father, 24.
No,
1924.
So you were just
Yeah, I was 22.
12 years old or something when your father died, and you were
I was 22.
14 or something.
Yeah, I was 22, 1922 then.
Right.
Yeah.
So 36. So you were like Marley's age about when your father died, something like that. 13, 14.
I was 14.
Yeah. What do you remember of our of Louise?
Well, when my father died, she was she and what's it?
Bud?
Bud had already made their thing to
Engagement?
yeah. And so they had to just push a thing aside because she said she was going to stay there and help these 4 young sisters of his to get through high school. And you know, he was just a wonderful person. She
Mhm.
really was. She had a lot of character and
talk louder. I can.
yeah, and Bud went along with her, you know,
Yeah.
and they got it all done, you know, the whole thing. So,
What do you remember of Bud?
well, we always loved him for some reason, but he was a really nice person, and he came to the house often, and of course they were going to get married, but then when all this started, they decided to put it off for a while. You know, it was kind of hard to do, you know.
So tell us about the Kentucky Derby, the parties at Grandma Hagen's.
Well, there were a lot of them at Grandma's Hagen's at the Kentucky Derby parties, weren't there?
Yeah, oh yeah.
We had a house full all the time to and of course we had drinking and we had all other stuff that goes with it, and we enjoyed it and had fun. So I don't know what else.
Yeah, and our mother, on everything had to be done in the house by Derby Day, because I'm not going to do anything else, she said.
Right.
And she would get her chair and go out on the front chairs and watch all people go back and forth. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
We had
See, we
fun.
were only about 2, no, I guess 1.5 squares, foot yard, not squares,
Blocks.
block
Mhm.
to the what do you call that thing, racing track?
Churchill Downs.
Churchill Downs, yeah.
So what made you guys such a tight family, do you think?
What made these guys what?
You such a tight-knit family.
Because we
Well,
loved each other.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, well, we lived together. I mean, lots of times young people go their own way when they get 16, 17, 18 years old. But we lived together until we got married, or,
Yeah,
yeah,
So you had a longer time to be together.
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So you guys have lived a long life. So has Grandma. Think of how many years, and Jerry
Yeah.
too. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, how do you think you were able to do that?
I don't know, I guess we just had it in our nigger head.
Right.
That you enjoy each other whether you like each other or not.
Yeah.
But we really did enjoy living together, didn't we?
Oh, yes.
We really did. We went to places together and we did things together until
We
each
did.
one started getting married. We lived together until people start getting married. Then that was the end of it.
Never.
Yeah.
How did you ever get it to say anything with all the Hagen sisters?
How'd you ever
How'd
get?
you ever get any word in?
Well, we had other people that came to visit. It was as bad as we were. So.
So when you had dinner together, did everybody talk and nobody listened?
No, I think people listened. And you think
Yeah,
when
I think so.
when we had dinner, yeah. So I think we did. But really and truly, it wasn't that bad to living together because we weren't always together.
Mm.
You know, we went other places and did things, and
You had your own interests.
yeah, and had we what do you call this stuff we did? We shut up.
Conversation.
I don't know. Yeah, I think we enjoyed each other.
So you met your husband at the office at the L&N Railroad.
Right.
So tell us about that. What was that like?
We went,
So how did you just met him and he asked you out? Is that what it was?
no, we worked at the same office, and I guess we just got to know each other and start going out together, and then we ended up getting married.
Wow.
But it was. I tell you one thing, I had a wonderful husband. I really did, and he had to die pretty young.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sad part about it, because he didn't have to die, but he did.
Yeah.
It's his
Yeah.
time was up. That was all.
That's true.
But it was really sad when he died because
Yeah.
he was a nice person when he Josephine.
Absolutely, certainly.
He was a nice person, and he was taken against my will. I know that,
Yeah.
but that's how things happen in life. We haven't got any say so and stuff
That's
like
right.
that.
Yeah.
We haven't got any say so in death.
Yeah.
So it comes and goes, and whoever is in line gets it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about it. I don't know. Yeah, but it's we had a wonderful life together.
Mm-hmm. And then how did you meet Bud?
Well, there was a place about 25 miles from where we lived, and all of my, well, not all of them, but about 8 of the girls would go out there every summer and stay for a couple of weeks and swim and just have a little good time. So this time, we ran out of food.
Oh.
And so the one girl called her mother, and her mother lived next door to Bud's mother. And she told her mother that we were running out of food and we don't have any money, and so we're going to starve to death, I guess. And so this mother passed it on to Bud's mother, and Bud and his, it's so funny, they told his mother about it. And so 2 days later, those 2 boys came down there where we were, and they had this great big water belly and a cherry
That
pie.
was your food, huh?
And a cherry pie.
You had it all covered,
I
huh?
heard there was 8 cute girls down there.
Bud was one of the boys, you know, and that's how we met him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Over watermelon and cherry pie.
Had this great big watermelon.
Yeah.
We were starving to death.
But that's one thing I love, and that's watermelon.
You did.
Yeah. You like watermelon?
Yeah, it's good.
I love watermelon.
So do you guys remember coming up to Cincinnati to see Louise?
Yeah, yeah. We used to come up there quite often, didn't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went
Sure.
there. We went to Cincinnati quite often. And
Well, your grandmother loved company.
Yeah.
She really did. And she was always saying, now you come and see me, and you come this way or that way or that way.
And you had to listen, huh?
Yeah,
She was the big sister.
yeah, oh, yeah.
Remember we used to always do Thanksgiving up there? Like all of the
What
Hagen
is-
side, we did Thanksgiving at Louise and Ben's
Oh,
house.
yeah,
We'd all
uh-huh.
drive to Cincinnati.
Yeah,
We had
right,
Big Thanksgiving family
yeah,
gathering.
yeah. She loved her family. She really did,
oh, she did.
yeah.